the fact that I am an autistic YouTuber, that I can be an inspiration to people with autism that who will say, I can't do this. And he said to me, all they have to do is watch you. They can watch you and they can be like, I can do this.
Welcome to Meet the MovieTubers, where every time we talk to a new MovieTuber about their journey from YouTube, where they started, all the way to where they want to go. And today we have the Epictastic Joshua. I'm so happy to have you, man. Here's one of the things that you people need to know about Epictastic Joshua. This dude is the hardest working YouTuber in our space. This man has 2,400 YouTube videos uploaded right now. The hardest working man in YouTube. He also has over 2,000 subscribers. The hardest working man in YouTube. Epictastic Joshua doesn't short out any of the people who watches his channel, because when he does a review, he does it in a way where he's detailed. He talks about directors, actors, lighting, everything. He reviews movies that are new. He reviews movies that are old. This dude is the real deal. And I'm so happy to have you here, Joshua. Thank you so much for being on the channel. How are you doing today?
Well, thank you. I definitely appreciate that incredible little mention, because I do put in a lot of hard work.
Yeah,
Whether
man.
Talk about a movie or a TV show or a live stream, live commentary, top 10 lists, ranking and such. I am doing very well.
I'm
very
glad to
happy
hear it.
On Meet the MovieTubers. Definitely a hard work, especially for a YouTuber like me who is autistic.
Not only is it impressive that you're doing what you're doing, I love the quality of what you're doing, the quality of what you say. You actually have something to say when you review. It's not, this was good, this is bad. You have legitimate opinions. And as you're saying, as an autistic YouTuber, which is something I definitely want to get into, I love the fact that you are stepping out and being courageous. It's not just courageous because you're autistic. It's courageous because anybody who steps out into the limelight is not limelight. We're not that famous. Anybody who steps out and puts their opinions online, it's courageous. There are people who out there who are jerks, who judge you just because of the way you look, act, or sound. We both know it, man. I've gotten questions about my skin, like when videos that have nothing to do about my skin and stuff like that. So we definitely have like the courage to actually step out and do this. And that brings me to our first question. What was the motivation that led you to go onto youtube.com, type in create a channel, type in Epictastic Joshua or whatever your first name was, because I do want to know if you started with that. I'm going to put my opinions about movies or anything else that you covered on YouTube for people to see, for people to watch, because that is important for me to do. What brought you to doing that? What brought you to that courageous decision?
Well, it started back in 2014 when I had my older laptop. It died out on me back in 2020, and I was going through YouTube. I was seeing that people were doing reviews, and I can't remember what movie reviews exactly, but I was seeing people like Chris Stuckman and Jeremy Johns and
the
people
goats.
I watched like W Universe and Review King and B, and also so many other YouTubers were doing videos, putting their thoughts and feelings out there. And also from some people, friends that I talked to back in high school, they say, you love movies, you should try putting your opinion out. When I first started it was one of my very first channels. My original name for the time, for 2014 to 2019, until I changed the name again last year, back in June, was Future Filmmaker 3940. I had my very first channel. I was testing it out and such, and it was doing very well until back in December of 2015, it got taken down. And so back on December 22nd, which is the 8 years I've been on here, which will be 9 years this coming December, I decided that I'm going to come back, but I'm not going to give up on talking about something I love.
Right.
And so
absolutely not.
What I did was, during that original time, is, for example, I would just have a fade in and fade out at the time, because at the time I was using Windows Movie Maker and stuff. And Back then, I didn't have intros, I didn't have outros. A friend of mine actually created my very first intro, which I still have it, and because
Nice.
I do keep all my intros and all my outros. I started out with that, and then usually I would just put the intro, the picture, and then my thoughts, and just sit there for a few minutes or 14 minutes because I was only limited to 15 minutes at the time until December of 2016, where I had to end up doing the necessary requirements needed to use thumbnails and end screens and put cards, and also to go longer than 15 minutes, especially
Nice.
with live streaming. In some of my older videos, I would just go by a little quickly, especially with the top 10 list. I wasn't really fully detailed as much as I wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
or I should have, which in that case, with some of my videos, which I still do, I delete them and I go back and I want to just update them with better quality and just actually go more in detail. But it wasn't really until I started creating thumbnails and creating more intros, coming up with outros, and I was playing around with different slogans until I could find my own voice. And then
Okay.
during the pandemic, which it did take a hit on me on my channel,
Mm.
because I was a little stressed. I did have a lot of anxiety and nerves because of the pandemic and what it was doing.
That's
And
understandable.
but I still wanted to do what it is that I set out to do. And it wasn't until June 2023 where I just officially made the change from Future Filmmaker 3940 to Future Filmmaker Reviews to Future Filmmaker Reviews with Joshua to Epictastic Joshua.
Nice.
I felt like the original name was just getting a little bit too much for me to say. Some friends of mine told me I should change the name. And I
Mm-hmm.
also felt like I needed to make that change.
I was actually in a very similar situation where I started out with my channel being called See for Yourself. And every time I went into a live stream with somebody else, where I had to talk to somebody, be like, hey, and See for Yourself said, and See for Yourself said this. And I'm like, y'all could just call me Kenny Sparks. It's cool. And then that's eventually where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to change my channel's name to Kenny Sparks. Now it's Kenny Sparks YT. But yeah, definitely. And I know like YouTubers go through name changes all the time. So it's actually really dope hearing the change that you went through. I do have a question for you though about your first name, Future Filmmaker. Are you still trying to make films?
Yeah, that was something I wanted to do, but and I still think about it from now and then, but I become so comfortable with doing what I do on YouTube, but I still think about it from time to time because I was writing movies back in middle school for myself and I would put them up and bind them
Okay.
at home. So it's a great
You
thing that you did ask me about that.
you mentioned a few impressive things that I want to hit on. One is you writing movies. First of all, that's dope. How many movies would you say that you wrote?
Well, back in middle school, and a few ideas here and there planned, but I also had a series, a film trilogy or something that I had planned, but I wasn't so happy with the versions I was writing, so I would always go back and switch things out and
Mm-hmm.
change some things until I get it right. But I don't even know how many I wrote.
The other impressive thing that you said was that you've been doing this for 8 or 9 years. Did I hear you right when you said that?
Yeah, I've been doing this since 2015, early 2015, but the channel that everyone has watched has
Mm-hmm.
been going on since December of 2015. So this is actually the original channel I had
Okay.
reborn, but I took it to much higher ground.
You doing YouTube since 2015, even with the channel, that's still impressive and it's awesome. That is amazing. I've only been doing this since I want to say May of last year. And to hear that someone has been grinding like you've been grinding for 9 years, that is amazing. And I love your grind and everything that you're putting into it, man.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. It hasn't been easy. I have to change up the style of editing as I go along. The
Mm-hmm.
way I want to be detailed. Definitely been using pictures and clips from trailers, and also the thumbnails has been going through changes. Because usually when I started out, I would just find a picture of the movie as I'm talking about and then apply it as a thumbnail. But the more
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten into this, I want to create the thumbnail and I want to actually do the editing work stuff. it can be challenging, but
Hmm.
since I like doing the editorial process so much, that it's not that much of a challenge.
I love the clips that you use. You've used clips from Invincible. You use clips from old movies, new movies. Dude, I love the way that you interject and intercut to different clips just to reference or solidify the idea that you're talking about. I think it's really dope the way that you do that. Now, you mentioned about being an autistic YouTuber before, right, as we started. I want you to, if you want to, speak to what that means to you, like what challenges may have come or what victories may have come from being an autistic YouTuber.
The challenges of being an autistic YouTuber is that when you see someone like me, you are afraid that some people will judge you. Some
Mhm.
people will go after you. They'll say, you should not be doing this. You're not cut out for this. You're not anywhere near as good as other YouTubers I watch. And another one of the struggles is when I'm making eye contact. Because I do have a condition with my eyes, is where I cannot do anything without glasses. It's pretty much one of those situations to where that is a bit of a challenge because it is hard to make eye contact, and also some people will criticize me for looking at my notes, which is something I like to do in a
Right.
lot of my, because that way I make sure I'm not just losing it.
Yeah.
Even when I'm doing a video, a top 10 list, or a video where I say I rant on a movie where I don't like a certain movie, or if it's a
Mhm.
movie I'm in the middle with, or if I have a guilty pleasure that I want to talk about and such. So that is a little bit of a challenge. Once you don't listen to the negativity and you just be yourself and just show your personality and show who you really are as a person and as a YouTube, a lot of stress is taken off your shoulders. I did do another interview on YouTube with the channel called Sledgehammer Horror. He told me that it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. And he said
Hey,
to me,
there you go.
that the fact that I am an autistic YouTuber, that I can be an inspiration to people with autism that who will say I can't do this. And he said to me, all they have to do is watch you. They can watch you and they can be like, I can do this. And it's a blessing to be called and influenced because it's not easy for autistic people to do what I'm doing or to pursue the passions that they want to do without getting laughed at. All they have to do is watch someone like me, and they can be like, if he can do this, I can do this. So also
100%.
doing this and accepting that I am autistic, which I have been autistic since I was younger, I found out,
Hmm.
it's given me the creative freedom to do what I want to do in terms of this channel. I don't use the autism as a crutch, but
Yep.
I will say what things in movies will bother me, whether it's because I am pretty sensitive to certain things,
Okay. Like what?
especially like they would like sometimes a movie will use the N word or something, which I can
Hmm.
get over if it's a hip hop movie or something. For a
Right. Right.
slavery movie, it does take a lot to commit to. I'm very sensitive towards violence against animals,
Yeah.
kids, violence against women,
Yeah.
which I have to tell myself it's only a movie. But there are quite a couple times where I just feel like, ugh, even violence against men, unless the man, of course, is a creep or
Right. The
something,
bad guy, the villain.
then that's when you deserve it. For
Yeah.
example, the girl with the dragon tattoo, which the Swedish version and the David Fincher version, which is my favorite film David Fincher has done, I think is really underrated. There is a scene involving the assault, which is in the book. I can look at that scene and just say it's only a movie. And also, since we know that she gets revenge on the guy, I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
No, and those of you guys watching, you're not going to hear me say anything bad about sexual content in films. I'm not that sensitive towards it because it's obviously going to be in some movies, whether
Yeah.
you want it to or not. And it's just something that can be a part of the story or such.
Hmm. But what you're talking about is important. Like, I know all of us have certain things in movies. Like, for me, I don't ever want to watch another black trauma movie. Like, I can't do it anymore. I've never seen 12 Years a Slave. I've never seen Fruitvale
I've seen
Station.
it. I did see it back in 2018. I did
Hmm.
review it back in 2020. It took 2 days to finish it because there was a point where I was just getting very emotionally heavy with it, and then I went to
Yeah.
watch something funny like SpongeBob. I don't have a problem with movies about black trauma, but there is more. But at me as an autistic black person, I feel like
Hmm.
in terms of the world of entertainment, there's more to black people than just the struggle. You can
Correct.
do stuff like fantasy. You can do stuff like sci-fi or
Yeah.
action or horror
Yeah.
or a superhero like Miles Morales or T'Challa
Yeah.
or
My
Falcon
boy.
or the new Captain America himself. Something like a romance film or such. But I definitely understand what you're saying.
I want to respect people and like what they are sensitive to. You know what I mean? I remember I had a girl who I was really interested in back early in college, right? And one of the things that happened was it was a movie. I forget what the movie was, but it was a movie I really wanted her to watch because I really liked it. But she had already expressed to me that there are certain things in movies that she doesn't like to see. But because I was being selfish, I was like, yeah, we should watch this movie together because I was really excited about that movie. She saw it and she knew that I had seen it already, and she was so upset with me because I had knowingly showed her this movie selfishly because I wanted her to see it, even though there was something that she was sensitive to in it. And it was one of the lessons I learned being young. I think I was like 19 at the time, 19, 20 at the time. It was one of the things I learned, like, yo, what I want and what someone else needs or doesn't need, what they need is way more important than what I want them to experience. The lesson that came from that for me, even being young and as I've grown up, is yo, you gotta respect people where they are. You gotta love people where they are. They may never be ready to watch something that you're totally comfortable with watching. And that's totally okay. And you need to be totally okay with that. So now if I know that my wife, she doesn't like horror movies at all, right? I'm not going to offer to watch a horror movie with her because she doesn't enjoy them. She has nightmares and stuff like that. So I have to be sensitive to that.
Yeah, exactly. When I saw Killers of the Flower Moon, I think the film is really great. Is not. I don't think it's Scorsese's best masterpiece.
I don't think so
did
either.
think some of the subject matter, because the point to the movie, while I get why this movie is doing it, there's
Mm-hmm.
just moments with the Native Americans being killed left and right. You could have either taken out or you could have
Yeah.
had implied. Because when you're having to sit through a 3+ hour movie with Native Americans being killed left and right without
Yeah.
so much as an intermission, which I definitely think they should be bringing back intermission at
Yep.
least for 3 to 5 minutes with some of these longer movies
Yeah.
in theaters. When you're having to sit through that much trauma with Native Americans, which I definitely felt some sympathy watching it, because you can definitely make me feel sympathy with people like Schindler's List or 12 Years a Slave. It becomes emotionally taxing to get through, and you can see why some people chose not to watch it. While I said I would never watch the movie again, I definitely enjoyed the movie for what it was. It made my best movies of 2023 live stream, which is out. I thought Lily Gladstone should take home the Academy Award for Best Actor. I definitely have to give you credit for asking me that question about what are things in movies I can't take.
Let's get to the second question because this is a dope conversation. In your 9 years, I want to say that again, 9 years of doing YouTube, what have you learned about yourself?
In the 9 years that I have been on YouTube, I've learned a lot. I'm still learning every day, which is a great thing for me.
Yeah.
Is to be active in your comments,
Mm.
not be afraid to take challenges, be willing to take some risks in what you're doing or what you want to do. Don't be scared to put your feelings out there, whether people disagree with you or not. Don't let naysayers or internet trolls or spam, because I have dealt with a few internet trolls, especially recently when I put up my rant about why I think the Harry Potter series is a bad idea. I had a long ass paragraph saying I'm wrong because as a fan of those books and as a fan of those movies, with Harry Potter being my favorite franchise of all time, there's no need to redo those books again, even if you are more respectful to source material. Because those movies, I feel like they do respect the source material,
Yeah.
even with changes they have to make. That's the thing you're
Mhm.
gonna have to do when you're making an adaptation. Things
Yeah.
are gonna have to be sacrificed. But
I actually just watched the Harry Potter movies for the first time over the Christmas break.
I know. I see you talk about them on threads and on social media.
Yeah, it was a good time. I really enjoyed it.
But that's one of the things you're gonna have to deal with. Don't let trolls or spams drag you down. Don't be afraid to be your own personality, while also wanting to take some criticism. Like if someone says your lighting isn't the best, definitely work on that.
Yeah.
If your camera quality needs to be better, definitely do that. Trust me, I go through different cameras. I use my phones. I also use my recent camera, which I just got. For the longest time, I was using my older camera, which was a red camera. I have a Kodak Pix Pro AZ255, which I got for my birthday. Also, don't be afraid to take criticism on your sound. Be creative, be yourself, make yourself stand out from everyone else. Something you should always do. Also, just have fun with your audience. Engage with them and just talk to them. If they have suggestions on how you should make your channel better, don't be afraid to take that chance.
Yeah, that's super important. Because your audience are the people who support you, the people who subscribe to you, who said, hey, I want to be someone who watches your content, but I would love to watch your content if it was better in this way. That means that people are actually invested enough to actually give you feedback, because they could just watch something and say, I don't want to watch this again, and not say anything. So the people who actually do say something are valuable.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, for the 9 years or 8 years that I've been doing it, I let a lot of people come into my channel and be a part of the Epictastic community. I don't care if you're a woman or what, or I don't care who you are a part of my Epictastic community. Even people I'm meeting for the first time or met for the first time last year, like Luke Ponto and Zach Attack. And now this year with someone like you. Don't be afraid to come into my Epictastic community and just join in on the conversation. That really matters to you as a content creator. They love you, appreciate you. And even if times get tough, your audiences definitely are there to help you and support you.
Correct. Yeah, man. So with that, I want to get into our third question now that we're talking about your audience and your channel. And my third question for you is, what is the ultimate version of the Epictastic Joshua channel? What do you want your channel to look like in the future? What do you want it to do for you in the future? Where's the best version of your channel?
The best version of my channel I see going forward is just a safe environment on my channel, whether it's talking classics or talking new releases or anything. I want my channel, for me and for my audience, to just be something where you can just talk. You can definitely be a part of the Epictastic. That's the number one thing I want to make sure in the future. Even if some people don't agree with me on a movie that I like but everyone else hates, or a well-loved movie or show that I may not be a fan of but everyone else is, or a guilty pleasure, or a movie that I hate. The number one thing I want people to take away from my channel in the future is that neither side is wrong. As long as you agree with me constructively and fairly and say any improvements I could make. And because nowadays, when it comes to the world of film criticism, it can be pretty damn toxic, especially on Twitter, which is such a cesspool of drama with film criticism. Some people will act like this is the worst movie ever. This movie is woke, which I'm sick to death of hearing that shit. Especially when it comes to people of color, people with diversity, or LGBTQ, or when it comes to a female character. I'm sick, and they just do everything they can to sabotage the movie success for everyone else.
Which is crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah, all you have to do is add one person of color or a woman in a prominent role, and they just label it woke and try to dismiss it.
To me, it's not woke. It's
not woke. It's just the way we live. You know what I mean?
Just they want to try something. They want to give other people a chance. And that's what I think they should do, while also focus on making a good movie.
Right.
Some movies that get called woke unnecessary, like the Marvels or something, it's like you people are taking it a little bit too far. Some people say it's the worst thing ever. Some people will overhype something and say it's the greatest thing ever. And then you have people like me sometimes where I can be like, I love the movie, I hate the movie, I like something but it has issues, I hate something but there is something good in it. Or it's okay to just simply say a movie is okay. I don't want to have in my comments saying this is woke, you're a hypocrite for hating this movie and liking that movie because it's woke. I don't want any of that. Tell me why you hate something. Share a top 10 or something. Tell me why you're in the middle of something. But like I said, neither side is wrong. It's even the people on film TikTok and film threads should definitely hear this. Neither side is wrong. Take that for what you will. As long as we don't say you're woke for this, or we don't just go after each other like a bunch of rabbits and dogs and we're werewolves.
Yeah, man.
What you like what you like, hate what you hate, and leave others the fuck alone for liking what they like or hating what they hate. If you're not a big fan of superhero movies, that's not my problem. You're not a fan of romance movies, not my problem. But every movie, whether it's original film or a remake or a reboot or a sequel or whatever, deserves a chance. Every movie deserves. Every TV show deserves a chance. Every game, every musician, any comic book, even if it's not for you, everything deserves a chance. That's what I want to do with my channel.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get to our final two questions. What is a movie that has either inspired you or challenged you?
A movie that inspires me. That's the hardest one to say because there's so many movies that has inspired. But I will say a movie that has inspired me is there are three. Harry Potter films, especially Prisoner of Azkaban, with that being my favorite. Movies like Rocky, and also
one of my favorites.
Black audience out there, the Spider-Verse movies is also inspired.
Two of my favorite movies.
And I picked those. They have motivational messages and they have something to say. With Spider-Verse, especially, because anyone can wear the mask and you can be your own Spider-Man and tell your own story. So those three inspired a movie that has challenged me. I'm not the biggest A24 fan.
I actually heard you say that during your Iron Claw review, and I clutched my pearls a little bit. It's like, how could he not be an A24 fan? But no, it's all good.
I'm a A24 fan. It definitely has to be something I'm interested in because sometimes A24 can not always be for me.
Yeah, but they can get a little weird at times.
A movie that did challenge me is definitely Bo's Afraid. While I didn't like that movie as much, I didn't love it nor hate it. I gave that's one of the movies I did not give a grade to because I was so conflicted and so complicated. I did like the fact that movie challenged me because I deal with anxiety. I deal with stress. So it was definitely showing you in Ari Aster fashion what that is like. Even though it didn't always work for me, I admired things in that movie. I did say in my review, I love a movie when it wants to challenge you. You need a movie like that to balance out the sequels and the remakes and stuff, which I did take a little bit of influence from that speech with Cody Leach, who is a famous YouTuber, of course. But that doesn't automatically mean I'm always going to enjoy something that's going to challenge. And I think it's perfectly fair.
Yeah.
And the second movie that also challenged me was seeing Hotel Rwanda when I first saw it.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
That movie challenged me because I was seeing what the people in Rwanda were going through at the time during the genocide. And when you had Don Cheadle as Paul Rusesabagina, saving as many people as you can, but also making sure his family survives, it challenged me in a way, like, if I was in that situation, what would I do to protect people I care about? What would I do to help others people who are going through the genocide and that was going on through that movie? And when I saw that when I was 12 years old and 13 in 2011, I was really challenged and really emotionally charged from that because I knew going into it, it was a movie that was going to be emotionally heavy. And I've rewatched it a couple of times, a lot. So people say it's one of those movies you can watch once. I can go back and rewatch that movie. And I just really enjoy that story and the fact that Paul Rusesabagina, who played phenomenally by Don Cheadle, I feel like he should have been at least nominated for the Academy Award.
For sure.
But it's a good thing that same year, Jamie Foxx, he did win his award for Ray, which is one of my favorites. Doesn't get talked about a lot, which I actually want to revisit my review of that.
Nice, man. Those are some great picks. And I even love that you picked a movie that you weren't necessarily in love with, but you still felt challenged by it. I think that's really good to be able, especially as a film fan, to be able to pick out things that you do find like worthy of speaking about, even in a film that you don't necessarily like. So let's get to our final question. And this is the new question for this year. Last year, at the end of the year, I asked people what their favorite movie of 2023 was. And this year, I'm going to ask you this. 2024 has started. What movie are you most anticipating for the rest of the year?
Oh, okay. So, the movie that I'm anticipating early this year is going to be Furiosa.
Oh, yeah,
It's been my most anticipated of the year since I found out more about it. And you got Anya Taylor-Joy in there. I'm a fan of the Mad Max movies. Besides Thunderdome, which I need to give it a rewatch so I can re-review those films.
Yeah, I need to watch them all. I think the only one I have seen is Fury Road.
Yeah, Fury Road was my introduction to the series. Furiosa, I've been looking forward to that it comes out during the summer. I really enjoyed the trailer. I don't see where people are saying it looks woke. I don't really see that.
People are saying it looks woke? I don't see that at all.
I don't pay attention to those who say everything is woke. I just like to go by my own heart and give the things a chance, whether I like it or not. Definitely excited for Dune Part 2, which is a couple of days away. I can't wait. Ballerina coming out. This spinoff to John Wick.
Yeah.
Which is going to be directed by Len Wiseman, the director of the first two Underworld movies. But as far as for the rest of the year, August through December, we'll see what happens. Because I know some people are looking forward to Deadpool 3. People saying the MCU is dead. I don't think they're dead because they have put too much into that franchise to just fizzle out. I think they're just going through a restructuring process, which is gratefully needed. You guys know me as Epictastic Joshua, but my real name is Joshua Droy. So, as you can see right now, if you turn your notifications on, I have my review of Mean Streets already premiering. I'm getting back into the Scorsese reviews. If you guys are new to the channel, you could go check that out. I have a lot more content coming, a lot of videos posted from 2016 to now, which you could definitely see the changes in quality and the changes in presentation. Be sure to turn on that notification, hit the subscribe button so you will not miss any more of the Epictasticness that is my channel. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, top 10 lists, rankings, live commentaries. The channel link is youtube.com/EpictasticJoshuaYT. All my social media links to my Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, TikTok, Snapchat, X or Twitter, Threads, my serialized, all of that is in the description box down below. If you would like to send any money to my Cash App, that way you want to help financially support the channel, you can do that as well. And if you would like to send anything from my Amazon wish list, my Amazon wish list is down there. That being said, stay epitastic, join the epitasticness, acknowledge me, and you guys keep it cool as always.
Thank you so much for joining me, man. I really appreciated talking to you. Loved hearing about your story. Love hearing about how you got from where you came from to where you are. Dude, it's been amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for watching this episode of Meet the MovieTubers. Cannot wait to talk to you guys next time.